I think that that's one of the reasons why it's important for teachers to understand. You do not need to speak the language, but you need to understand how it's learned. For example,
Literate, you
I will,
said it at the beginning, I remember.
yes, I will explain this between Italian and English, okay?
Go ahead.
And this happens with the Spanish too. So our E, right? It's in English is E, but in Spanish, your E is our I.
Yeah.
So if a student keeps reading and changing them, when you say write E, they write I in Spanish, then you know why that is happening. You do not speak the language, but you understand that there is a confusion that goes and traces back to language acquisition.
Hmm.
So you can say this student still needs to learn that in English, E is E, and in Italian or in Spanish, in both languages, the same, then E is I in
Hmm.
English, right? Because this has happened very often. For example, if you have a student, I had one student, kindergarten, she was with me in kindergarten. She had a lot of difficulties writing her name. So, many people, they dislike comparison, but you need to compare to understand if
Yes.
something is in the norm or not. The interpretation of that comparison, that is the problem, because we usually assign value when you compare, or you are better, or you are worse. That is not what data was built for. It's for you to have a picture of, okay, this student by the end of kindergarten is not able to write her name. Something is happening. We need to take a look. Okay.
Hmm.
By grade two, she was still struggling. But dyslexia specialists, not only with that, with many things, specialists said that it was a confusion with the language. It was not. It was not. Yes, it's because you've seen the alphabet. We do not teach the alphabet in English.
Yeah.
Taught the alphabet in Spanish for her. So it seems, okay, and I can be wrong, but it seems that some specialists, because they do not understand the base of the language, they are told something, they write it down, and they go by the book. If the student is bilingual education, then most likely it's a confusion. No, they teach the alphabet by singing. They have to stop. And they go to you and you say, we are not doing that. But they do not have any other argument. And of course, I understand if you tell me that I have to go to Russia, to China, and talk with a student that has no English, but I have to evaluate that student in Russian or in Chinese. I would say, oh my gosh, I will put every single excuse possible not to go. But that
Exactly.
it's because of my lack. But the student is suffering.
But that takes me also to another point. You said something very interesting, and that actually matches with some of the beliefs that I actually have, and I also spread it in this channel. Um, that takes me to this nativism, because not because you're a native speaker that doesn't mean that you are literate or that you know how
Exactly.
to teach the language. You can actually be a
Exactly.
native speaker. That doesn't give you actually the right to go and teach the language because that doesn't mean you can actually just teach it. You cannot convey the message or transmit what the other language is or how to speak the language.
But to understand, Mike, how the language is built, what is the acquisition, what is the foundation for it to emerge? And
Hmm.
with reading, it's important that we are faithful to the language principle for acquisition of reading, because this is not a system that we have in our brain. We are constructing it, we are building it.
Hmm.
It's recently 5,000 years ago. There is not an evolutionary path, there is not a biology in our brain that is designed for that. So then it becomes very hard for teachers that are first, second, fourth, third generation. They are native speakers. They can speak the language, but they are not literate. So when they try to teach a kid, look, and this is very hard. there was some teachers in Spanish. When we have many forms of verbs, but when you use the plural, it's we play, for example, nosotros jugamos.
Mm-hmm.
Some people, and this is usually related with social, economic strand, as in every language, they will not formulate the sentence correctly, or they will conjugate the verb correctly. They would say
Correctly, yeah.
juganos, right? And when you have teachers that they do not know that they are saying that, and when you said, well, we have to they conjugate the verbs, and then this is how we do, and they said, no, that's because it's based on in what part of the world you have learned Spanish.
Oh
Absolutely,
no, Jesus.
it's not
No,
related to
no,
that.
no.
It's not, you are speaking it wrong, and you are teaching it wrong, and then you are learning it
That's the easy
wrong.
way. That's the easy way, right?
Exactly.
Perfect excuse.
But it's the lack of knowledge, and they are authentic. They believe that it's that way. They even said, they use the word dialect. No, 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 no. We have different words based on in what part of the world
Jesus Christ.
your culture comes from.
That
In
was
one,
shocking.
this pluma, in other places, like the pen, in
Esfero,
other places is pluma,
esfero.
bolígrafo, it's fero, and it's that the name of the word changes, but the conjugation never changes.
Hmm.
It's either right or wrong,
Yeah.
right? So when you have that, and that's the teacher, that it's going with, again, they have and they work and work, they could work more than what I do, but it's not enough for the learner because the information that they have is wrong.
Yeah.
So you need to assess yourself. I would never teach English because I cannot set shredded. Sometimes I make mistakes when I'm conjugating verbs, and it is not done. It's didn't. Oh my God, it's the past. I use this and that. And I
Hmm.
realize that after I have spoken. So there are things, or if I'm going to do that, I will play a video that speaks the sounds rather than me saying the sounds.
Yeah, of course.
Or I will let the students know, hey, I have this problem, because this is something beautiful too. I have this problem with the pronunciation. I will play the video so we hear how is the right pronunciation, and we are trying to mimic that.
Hmm.
That doesn't mean that it's not completely wrong to have this accent, because you can communicate. Look at us, we are here,
Yeah.
right? Creating this podcast. But it's very interesting when that is the only thing that you have to teach.
Hmm.
And the vocabulary that you have, that is your base, your vocabulary, it's also here. So they would not grow. And
Hmm.
we know research has demonstrated that it's not that we have two different compartments in our brain, one for Spanish, one for
One for
English.
English. No. Yeah.
Exactly. No, we share the same one, right? That's
Yeah.
why sometimes we pass from whatever lingual to no lingual, trying to
Yeah.
find
Uh,
the right,
yeah. That's a good one. That's true.
trying to find the word. It's like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, it's so hard sometimes. Um, so we need to be able to give the students the lack of staff that is um qualified, let's call it
Hmm.
that way, is an
Okay.
excuse to put whoever, or
Yeah.
not to service the kid as they deserve.
Those are the backpacker teachers. That's how I call them.
Now, what can we do, right?
I mean,
Because
it's the reality.
it's better something than nothing, right? So what will we do with this
How
something?
good is that is?
Okay, I want to get there, because with this something, you can do a lot. When you get this something and you train that something, it's
Ooh.
better than someone that is not speaking the
Okay.
language.
That's the
right?
key word
So
there. Train.
exactly. Exactly. But because it's different, if you have a teacher that is a good teacher that wants to change, that it's open to contributions, that cares, because you need to care about your
Hmm.
kids' well-being. And I'm talking about their cognitive well-being, their psychological well-being, their emotional well-being. So
Exactly.
when you have all of that combined, and the only thing that they do not have, it's a good Spanish, then you can teach this the same way you can teach your kids a good Spanish.
Yeah, true. No, fair
So
enough. But that's the key word. I mean, train, help them,
train.
help them, teacher training, learn. I mean, but that actually depends on every teacher around because we have so many teachers and I've met so many teachers. They call themselves teachers because I mean they have nothing else to do and I'm sorry. And they would like actually to get some money and they believe actually that's the easy way, becoming a teacher.
That's hard.
Who actually goes to a doctor without a degree?
Yes, and that is something that
Who
it's
actually
hard.
goes to a doctor? I mean, I'm gonna say, okay, I'm a doctor right now, so I'm gonna open over here and that's it. Who's gonna come to me? No, I mean the police will come actually over here and they take me. I will be in jail. Why that happen actually in teaching? Why do we have to actually just pretend nothing happens and all the teachers or people who would like to be teacher, they don't care about it and they just want to be there because of the money? We are actually doing something really bad for our kids,
I
not
think
even
that
only for ourselves.
the answer goes to if you are literate or not. Because once you are literate, most people infer, well, you know how to read, you know how to write, you should know how to teach, right? It's not that way, absolutely not. Uh, and but I feel
So I can tell when somebody has fever, that means I can be a doctor.
exactly, you can be adapted. Exactly, that is a perfect example. Sometimes I feel that in education there are many things that are named in a way but are another thing, and they are a lot of misconceptions, and
Yeah,
this is another misconception. So believing that a teacher could be whoever is able to read, write, and do math, it's a misconception that is causing and is costing us a lot. Not to us, it's to the kids.
yeah,
Because then we have many other situations within a classroom that you have never seen, that you have no idea, and then you don't know how to intervene. With that being said, not every teacher with a degree and a certificate know how to deal with that either.
that's also yeah, okay.
With that being said, okay, but I think there is room for improvement in the whole system.
Mm,
And one of the most important parts, in my opinion, is to begin seeing it as a system.
yeah,
Because we speak usually at it as the system, the system, as a negative way. We have to blame the system, and it's always negative, as if they are coming to you when doing something bad to you or something
conspiracy
like
theory
that.
over there.
Yes, yes. But the system is embedded in everything. There is in your classroom, you have a system in
Hmm.
place. In your family, you have a system in place. In society, we have a system in place. And each component in the school, there is a system in place. So every system is part of a bigger system. And then it changes from being the system to being the part.
Hmm.
And that is what we do not see. And we often fall in the culture of blaming. I didn't do it. He did. I didn't do it. She did. It was not my fault. It's the student's fault. It is not the student's fault. It is the
Hmm.
parent's fault. It is the principal fault, the school fault, the superintendent fault, the specialist fault, whoever
Yeah,
fault. So we need to delimit what are our responsibilities.
no,
My
definitely.
responsibility as a teacher is to understand learning, understand teaching and know my kids. And that is one of the most important parts. Know my kids. What can she do? What can he do? What he cannot. And it's not related to me shouting at him.
Mm-hmm.
Look, my journey began with my son. I love my son, my eldest one, super bright. Oh my gosh, it was so hard being his mom because he was that bright that he would often challenge teachers. Okay?
Ooh.
It's big ideas that he had. So he would arrive home. It was my first year teaching, and he was like, Mom, have you ever noticed? I call it the have you ever noticed series because they always, oh my gosh, every time that he's, have you ever noticed? Ooh, give me a second. It's have you ever noticed that when we do not understand something, teachers shout? Shouldn't they find another way to teach it, us? Isn't that their job? I'm like, oh, let
Oh.
me see. Let me see. Mike, me, the psychologist, I was checking myself and I saw after that conversation with him, first year teaching, and I was talking to my in La Jam Education Foundation, we are transforming the future of learning. Decades of research have reshaped education. We understand more about the brain, language, literacy, and learning than ever before. Now, the challenge is transforming knowledge into intentional learning design. Information is no longer our greatest challenge. Integration is the architecture of learning, connecting research, designing learning, transforming classrooms. When research is connected, instruction becomes intentional. This is the architecture of excellence. Transform your school, transform your district. Take action now. La Jam Education Foundation. Design the future of learning today. Teaching. And I was talking to my students and I was like, how are you telling me you don't know this letter? We have learned that letter. And then I stop and I'm shouting. I am because they don't know.
Yeah.
I am raising my voice and that is the yaha moment that we usually talk about in education a lot.
Yeah.
And I look at them and they were scared.
Wow.
My kids were scared of me because I was shouting because they did not know the
Wow.
letters we learned for 5 weeks already. But
Five
in that
weeks. Oh my God, would have been very
Come
heavy.
on. And last year too, because I taught you last year. So I was their pre-K and kindergarten teacher. So I was like,
Yeah.
what do you mean you don't know? We'll learn this. And then I stopped and I saw in action what he asked, what my son asked to me.
Yeah.
But not everyone had a son like mine, right? That is asking these questions. And then you go and you
Deep
say,
questions, actually.
oh my God. Yes, oh my gosh, it's happening. Then the other one was, Mom, have you ever noticed that every time that you finish your work and you put the effort, the teacher has no work for you to finish? This is what I'm going to do from now on. I'm going to play the whole time. When we have like 10 minutes left, I will do my work and I would have, look, I won because I would have free time plus I would turn in the work.
Yeah.
I was like,
Smart.
trash all the extra work. And then we came with an option. So what we did every time that we are doing science and you begin by asking questions, what do you know about this? What do you wonder? What would you like to know? Right? Every teacher does that. But those questions end in nothing because you are doing that because someone said that it's important for you to do it. That's it. You do not know what happened after. So what we did was we have a bank of questions that you can research when you finish. You can choose the topic. It can be this one, and they would prepare a presentation. So in the free time, they would prepare a presentation and teach the class about something they like, not something that it want. But it had to be something interesting.
Yeah.
It had to with this structure. It's not like you are just going to be there. I mean, you need to apply all the cognitive processes that we are learning, right? So those kids, your work needs to be correct. It's not that you are going to rush just because you prefer doing the other one. They created those projects that I was amazed. They taught us about things that I didn't know, because those are not my things that I am interested. And it was beautiful and amazing. Students wanted to come to school every single day. You do not have students that are tired, and they are applying what they need to apply. Plus, they are learning independency in learning,
Yes.
which is our goal, because you don't want your kids just to learn when they are
An
sitting in front.
independent learner.
Exactly. You want them to inquire about the world.
Yeah.
And how do you achieve that if you do not give them the resources to do it? So if we learn how to research, now you are applying that in the topic of your preference, because you already finished what we needed to finish.
Mhm.
And that was beautiful. And everything thanks
Definitely.
to, have you ever wondered?
Yeah. But that was a
Yes.
very powerful question. Very powerful, actually. Your son was super
Yes,
brilliant. I mean, in that moment,
yes,
it was like, what,
yes,
this kid?
they are,
And no,
they are.
and the most powerful stuff was the moment you realize. It was like the
That
eureka
changed
moment.
that changed everything. So from
Yeah.
that point, I never did something just because. I always look at the students and I monitor and adjust how they feel. Because I realized when he was talking to me at the time, he was in fourth grade. Right now, his last year of high school. So he's 17 years old. It's a
Ooh, it's a big
beautiful
boy.
handsome man. Yes, he is very smart, very very happy because he's like a I think that I want to follow neuropsychology, and it's we usually
Wow.
argue and discuss things. Yes, it's beautiful. So when you realize and you begin reflecting, because that also takes you to the self-reflection. Okay,
Yeah.
it takes you there, and we know we teachers, before being teachers and being on the right in the adulthood, that I'm always right. We are humans. If we want to our students to learn, they can make mistakes. We need to be susceptible of making mistakes. I cannot
Exactly.
pretend that I'm perfect, always right. And then this happens a lot when we infer the reasons of behavior. Oh my gosh, I have never seen something worse than that. It's like when you believe the kid is doing this because I saw you and I know why. It's no, allow your kid to explain you why. And
Mhm.
then you, through questioning, get to the right answer. Okay? Because sometimes, yes, they do lie. Why do they lie? Because they are afraid of you. They are afraid of the consequence. So it's when you set the classroom expectations and they are clear with it, there is not being afraid because they know. It reminds me, um, there's a year 2021, if I'm not wrong, that I've got the master teacher designation in the state of Texas. And when you are seen by another teacher, it's very interesting because they believe you are very permissive, that you
Mhm.
allow the class to do whatever they want. And
Wow.
there is nothing more contrary to the truth than that.
Mhm.
The difference is that you do not need to enforce the expectation, because the expectation is shared. It's not the teacher's expectation, it's the
Mhm.
student expectation too. So every time before going out of the class, I will line them up and ask, we are lining up. What do you believe are we expecting from you when we walk around the school?
Mhm.
We need to walk quietly. Why? Because we are lining up. Is this normal at home? No, I always said that difference. I place the lining up, raising their hands, and everything in the context. For example, for raising their hand, do you know that usually we struggle with students trying to talk everyone at the same time, and they do not respect time, right?
Yeah.
their turn. So I would say, Mike, I'm sorry, sweetheart, but I need you to raise your hand. I know this is very uncommon, but you deserve my attention, and I can only
Hmm.
pay attention to one student at the time. You are very important to me. Whatever you are going to say, I'm interested in listening, but I cannot if you talk at the same time of your friend. Okay.
Hmm.
So I need you to wait your turn. And as soon as he finishes, then you raise your hand. I will remember. And then that is magic. The other thing, I cannot understand why teachers ask kids to put
Connection.
a bubble in their mouth and
Yeah.
then they pain. Have you tried to hold a bubble? It hurts. So they do that because the purpose is for them to be quiet. Explain to them, Mike, I don't want your cheeks to hurt. I don't like pain. It hurts to me when I do it. So I prefer just be in silence. We are waiting turns. Okay. Then
Yeah.
when you have the opportunity to talk, I will let you know when.
Connection.
That's it. Exactly. It's that connection. And through that connection, you access a learning.
Yeah.
And that is what teachers, they do not understand. This, when I was saying that teachers perceive as if you are very flexible with
Hmm.
students, my students will line up, they will always behave, always behave. They will wait whatever they needed to wait without causing any problem.
Hmm.
But the teachers, when they would pass by, they will turn around and say, next year you are with me. And do not believe I'm like Miss Morales. You are
Hmm.
going to be for real. And now you are going to be disciplined. And they were like, what do you mean? That is not discipline. That is exercising discipline through fear.
OG.
And that is
What?
not discipline. That is not the environment for
Yeah,
learning.
definitely. No, we've been actually talking about that discipline with love.
Exactly.
So many of those workshops I actually attended like around 10, 15
And,
years
and,
ago.
And I think it's very misunderstood because they believe that the discipline with love, it's translated into do whatever you want because I cannot raise my voice. It is not that way. It
Hmm.
is absolutely not that way. It is explaining to you. I will explain to you the reasons behind. There is no negotiation. You cannot stand on the chair. No negotiation. And I will tell you why. You are important. I care about you. You can fall. I don't want to
Hmm.
have an accident. That's it.
Exactly.
I am not telling you, yes, go ahead because I don't want to shout. It is not that way. And it's horrible, Mike, that
Yeah.
teachers, some teachers, I don't think that everyone, but if you believe that the only way of exercise and discipline is through fear,
Fear,
shouting,
screaming.
or
Yeah.
negative consequences, then you need to check is have you ever wondered if there is any other way of doing this?
And again, we come to the same point. Teacher training.
Training. Training. But do you know
Yeah,
what I
it
thought?
is like that. I mean, that's what happened. I mean, there's no other solution actually to this. If you don't actually get proper training, if you don't care about what you're doing, this is what happened, the result.
You have said something very important, proper training. What is the
Hmm.
proper training? Because, for example, in Texas, you are required to have 30 hours of training every year. So by
30.
May, June,
So
you are
little.
looking for trainings that you have to succeed. Yes, and you are training, training, training. So we train a lot. But the training that we have, it's never perceived as a whole in the classroom situation. So your teacher brain, it's overwhelmed with trying to make, there's a cognitive overload,
Yeah,
trying to make 1,000 of decisions. In this training, I learned this. In this training, I learned that. But this training says that I have to do this. Where is the point that everything belongs to the system?
hmm,
And that is the proper training. The training where I'm going to give you the skills to have a classroom management that will lead to learning and that will lead students to learn because I don't want to leave this out of the equation. I
exactly.
want to emphasize that the students have a role and their role is to learn. And when you acknowledge that role and you allow them to understand their part, you stop putting happy faces. There are no happy faces or sad faces. Now
Hmm.
they self-regulate, and the
Yeah.
teacher lower that extra responsibility that do not belong to
Pressure.
them.
Yeah.
Yes,
This is
yes.
stress. And that actually leads to burnout.
It's very, and that is one of the reasons why teachers leave the profession,
Yeah,
because
also,
there's
yeah.
not a system that can hold everything. Look, I remember in my experience, me teaching, I will teach when I say I will teach, I'm talking about I have to intentionally develop the framework where learning will occur in the first 2 to 3 months, where you are reinforcing every errors, making mistake is okay. Okay, raise your hand. Let's have the discussion. Oh, I love how you say that. Why? Show us where was your mistake. This is very powerful because we
Yeah.
usually call to the board the students that know how to answer. And we are taking away the opportunity from the students that made a mistake to teach the class where was the misconception so they wouldn't repeat that. I usually
Exactly.
call the one who made the mistake. So and they were like, me, I got it wrong. So come here, come to the board, show us where was the misconception, but we will discuss what happened and we will see what he thought or she thought that got him or her to that answer.
Exactly.
We get to the process. So I always tell them, look, kids, this is not about the answer. This is about the process, the process. Always, always. So they own that.
Yeah.
They will go there, they would explain the process, and then you are helping them through that speaking
Yeah.
to organize the cognitions that are going to help them learn.
Wow.
So we do not have that training.
Well, right now we have it with you through this episode. No,
Thank you,
that
sir.
this is
Well,
no,
right now.
definitely. Hey, hey, that's it. We're gonna have to start like making money out of this one now.
Yes,
Because this is a
exactly. Let's
proper
go, Mike.
training.
It's a
This is a
prop.
proper
This
training.
is the proper training.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, you have actually cleared up everything here. So many things that you have tackled within this, wow, almost 2 hours. It's amazing. It's the first time actually 2 hours. I'm gonna say that. But it's been
Yay!
so
And I was
enriching.
nervous.
Nervous. Oh my goodness. I think I'm the one nervous now. So imagine, I mean, to have all these uh aspects that you have actually covered today and every single issue that you have actually tackled. You have talked about literacy, neurodivergence, ADHD, dyslexia, how to recognize those patterns, what happened with the teachers in school, what happened with the system, what is the system? Because those are some of the misconceptions that we have in education. And definitely, this type of thing, this conversation actually doesn't help only people from the States or teachers in the States, but definitely worldwide. Because the situation that is happening right now in America, in the States, in Brazil, in Venezuela, in Chile, in Argentina, in Australia, in China, is, believe me, it's almost the same. It sounds
Yes,
like a
exactly.
joke, but definitely the same. And you don't have Instagram or any other
We
platform?
do. I mean, not personal ones. To be honest, I'm very dedicated to study because I have been writing a curriculum too in Spanish, respecting the Spanish
Beautiful.
principles. Yes, with neuropsychologists, neurodidactic techniques. We have it's beautiful. Everything that I'm writing, it's because I have learned through the creation of the curriculum
Mhm.
and through Laham Education Foundation, LinkedIn, we are beginning to also inform the audience about it, so everyone knows what we are doing right now, but not personal ones.
Thank you, Laura, and until next time then.
Bye, Mike. Thanks to
Bye
you.
bye.